I don't know about you, but it's almost hard to not appreciate trees every time you leave the house. They're by far some of the biggest and most important plants in the entire universe. But what if I told you that they weren't as important as we thought? Trees are extremely important and should be protected. But I would argue that trees get a bit more credit than they're deserved, and the real unsung hero of oxygen production is a bit underappreciated. The reason why trees are so amazing is because they produce oxygen. They literally take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and produce oxygen in which we breathe. I would argue that if you asked most people, they would say that trees likely produce at least 50% of all of the world's oxygen. Forests, and particularly rainforests, contribute massively to the Earth's oxygen supply. But that massive amount is not 100%, it's actually only 28%, which begs the natural question, okay, if trees are only producing 28% of the Earth's oxygen supply, where does the other 72% come from? The other 72% comes from ocean plants, more specifically microorganisms, like phytoplankton, and of course, regular ocean plants like kelp and algae and other stuff like that. All of these relatively small and in some cases microscopic organisms actually play a massive impact on the world's global oxygen supply. When you start to consider how much of the world is actually covered in ocean and how little of the globe is actually covered in forests, it starts to make at least a bit more sense. So the wrong fact that most of you likely believe is that trees produce all or even most of the oxygen we breathe, when in reality, that's actually not the case. They make a big impact, but the impact they make is dwarfed by the impact that the ocean makes. So yeah, trees don't make all the oxygen. They just make you more informed. Boop.